Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Glad to have you here on our live stream at Escape from Crazytown because we want to get the heck out of Crazytown. I'm telling you, I find myself in Crazytown quite a lot lately, and it's never fun. It just drains your soul. It really just does. I wish that I could say you could go revisit it from time to time and enjoy yourself, but there's really no enjoying. It's either an obligation because of family or because of court, stuff with divorce and family issues like that between the kids and you and the narcissist. It's just never a fun place to be. So, uh, but welcome here because this is our escape. This is our time away from that insanity so that we can find reality and be plugged back into the truth again. So, welcome. So glad that you guys are coming on. I wanted to talk about our happies and crappies. So, Happy Crappy Hour is where we talk about our happies, excuse me, our happies and crappies, and we learn from them. So, we want to keep doing the happies and we want to stop doing the crappies, obviously, right? So, let me see. The happies have been pretty regular for me, but I've made some new friends recently, so that's really cool. I enjoy that. I enjoy meeting new people. But there are times, of course, where you're just like, uh, you want to spend some solitude time, some time away. And I've done quite a lot of that during these quarantine times. So it's been really nice to meet new people. So I think I'm gonna, yeah, we have, oh my gosh, our calendar is getting so busy, which is a good thing, I guess, right? So it's a happy filling your calendar with social activities and coffees and outings and stuff like that. So yeah, actually that's been a really good thing. That's been my happy. It's been getting me out and being around people, sane people, right? Doing fun things like riding bikes and touring homes and stuff like this, model homes. And anyway, and a little bit of traveling, which is awesome. If you can do that, go and do a little traveling. This is not a bad time to do it. The only thing I don't like is having to breathe through a mask the entire flight, which, you know, I don't know, it affects me. I know some people are like, oh, wear the mask, but honestly, I understand the medical conditions. I haven't gone to get checked, but I do have breathing problems. But anyway, those are my little complaints. But go out, have fun, try to get yourself back out there and back into life. You really need to do that, especially coming out of a relationship with a narcissist where you feel like you've just been robbed and depleted. You need to get back into life again. Just even small steps, taking walks by yourself out in nature, maybe even go camping. It's so nice to do that. Even if you've never camped before, find a person or two or, a friend or two who's willing to go with you and then just try it. Do one night. You can survive one night. And do it before the weather changes if you happen to be in a good place right now. So, hey, you guys, glad you're hopping on. John, Bailey, good to see you. Monique, good to see you. Rissa Riss, good morning. Thank you. Says so happy as always when you come on. Glad to have you here. And Gloria, good to see you here as well. Oh, let me change my settings to live chat because sometimes let me see, where am I? All right, I'm here. So crappies this week. I don't know if you guys had any crappies this week. I'm trying to think of what my crappies might have been. Oh, other than just a couple of nights ago, I could not sleep. I don't know. I've been getting pretty good sleep, but this one night, 2 nights ago, I just kept waking up. Oh, I remember why. I was like, why was I waking up? I was working out the day before or that day, and by the evening, my muscles were sore. And I think that has something to do with it because when you're sore and you go to bed, at least for me, it's hard to get comfortable. So I should have taken some ibuprofen or something. I took some last night and slept like a baby. It was awesome. So that was my crappy. Got to get better sleep. I would recommend that to all of you. Because when you don't get sleep, you kind of are off the whole rest of the day. Well, you guys, we are going to go right into this topic today, that the evidence and facts don't matter to the new supply. And you guys, that's how, when we look at the narcissist and their relationships that they have right now, or even with the flying monkeys and the fan club that they have around them, and you're like, how is it possible that these people are not seeing who the narcissist is? How is it possible they're not seeing that the narcissist is a total jerk to them, right? Breaking their arrangements, their meetups or whatever, their dates. The narcissist is a no-show, comes up with some excuse, stayed out drunk all night, whatever it is they're doing. And you look at the news supply and you're like, why are you putting up with this? Why are you not questioning this? And that's why I want to talk about this today, because at some point, I think we were all there. At some point, we were all so taken with a narcissist that we were not seeing the evidence or the facts of how they were treating us and how bad they really were. Now, a lot of people are, would ask, why are there not why don't we see the warning signs? Or what are the red flags? Why can't we see these red flags? And honestly, you can identify all the red flags right now, but when you're in the midst of your relationship with the narcissist, when you're being idealized, when you're being pulled into this relationship, you're not going to see it, because your heart has a desire that the narcissist is fulfilling, even if it's partially fulfilling, but the narcissist is taking care of those desires to the point where you would deny all the other evidence that they're a total jerk, right? And you look at some people who end up with really awful people, really, bad, criminally minded people who take advantage of others, robbing from their own parents, or their own grandma. And they'll stay with these narcissists. They'll stay with these criminals because they'll overlook even that, right? They can't compute that if this narcissist is a total jerk to say it's a man, is a total jerk to his mom, then he's going to be a total jerk to his girlfriend, right? Or other way around with the woman. If you see that she totally manipulates her father, right, into giving her everything, and she's a total spoiled brat, the guy she's with doesn't compute that she's going to do the same thing to him, that she's going to manipulate him to extract stuff that she wants from him. They just don't compare that evidence. They don't look at those facts. They kind of put themselves apart. The new supply puts themselves apart from all the other victims of the narcissist, and thinks that the narcissist is true and honest only with the new supply. Like, the new supply gets to see only the good and the best part of the narcissist is what they think. They think that they're the only ones who get to see the real narcissist, which is their good side. That's what they can convince themselves of. Meanwhile, they're watching their narcissist rob their their own grandma. They're watching their narcissist cheat on everything out there, shoplifting and robbing and just taking advantage of other people around them, their business partners. They're watching them badmouth everybody around them. And yet the new supply thinks, well, I'm in this special position in the narcissist's life. They do respect just me. I'm the only special person in their life. So they're going to respect me and love me. But all these other people are just horrible people, and they deserve to be used. This is the mind scramble that happens to the new supply when they're pulled into a narcissist, which is so weird, because it doesn't happen with other relationships. Like any other relationship, you probably have recognized this about yourself. Any other relationship, when you see somebody pulling this crap, right, you're like, what the heck? No, I'm not into that. And you're disgusted by that person and you walk away. But for some reason, with the narcissist, you give them this leeway. You make excuses for them. You want to believe their excuses. And the weird thing again is, with any other kind of person, any other partner you've ever had who tries to give you these excuses, you see right through it. You're like, no, I see your lies. I totally see what you're doing. No way am I believing that. But with the narcissist, their new supply, their fan club, their flying monkeys, they just don't see the evidence. So that's why I want to get into this today. We may get all the red flags, and we're on these channels and we're learning about red flags and we're learning about, oh, the warning signs and all that. But the problem is the warning signs were always there, right? It's just that we wanted to believe something different. So why is that? And what is it that makes us want to believe something different? And just especially for the narcissist. Nobody else gets away with this with us, right? But just the narcissist gets away with that. So that's why I want to get into that. Let me see. A lot of you guys hopping on here today. So good to see you. Let me catch up on. Rissa says, wondering the same. The new supply seems so happy with the narc after 2 months marriage now, buying a home and taking trips, and sometimes I blame myself like she got a better him. Yeah. Yeah. Do-ra or do-ray, I'm not sure. He says, Rissa, there is no better him. There just isn't. There's the delusion that the new supply is getting, right? The fantasy, the fake him. Yep. Jihad, good morning. No narcs, good to see you. Gloria says, it took ex-narc about 6 months before I saw the red flags. Yeah. Should have had some water earlier today. So catching up on that right now. So, yeah. Sometimes we don't see red flags, although they're kind of there, but, sort of on this, I don't know, we just see glimpses of them. So ignore those because they're just a glimpse. You're like, maybe that was nothing. But then they start to become more and more obvious, right? 6 months into it. And same thing with the new supply, 2 months being married. That's nothing. They're definitely living in denial right now. That's the first stage. You go through, one of the stages. First, of course, you're love bombed and you're building this fantasy. But then when you start to see some of the red flags, you go through a little bit of denial. And then you go through tremendous denial to the point where the family and friends are saying, why are you with this horrible person? How can you be with them? And that's when the new supply is in total denial. And I'll tell you why. Let me see. Oh, I just got another comment. I want to see what, D, good to see you. Okay, go ahead. D says, I have lived with a narcissist for 32 years. I'm 62 and I'm just learning about all this. It is so sad. He has love bombed 3 women so far. Yes, this is what they do. It's kind of creepy because in D's case, the narcissist is a lot older now and is, quote unquote, reinventing himself, right? Finding his new stage of life and who he is. When in actuality, what that narcissist is doing is learning how to manipulate people, new people now. That this narc is no longer stuck with their old supply. They've moved on and realize, there's a whole world out here with all this new supply, and I can fake out all of them. I can lie to all of them, and to them, it's a game of fishing, right? Just to see how many they can hook and how many they can manipulate and how far they can go with the manipulation. It's really creepy. It's a creepy awakening. By this stage in life, you would think, you're getting to the point of awakening to what's important in life, to the person you want to become or want to be. And you start working towards that. That's your awakening, right? But for narcissists, the later stage in life, if they have been married all this time, then they haven't been, unless they've been cheating behind your back, they don't realize, they're now just realizing, there's this whole world that I could be cheating. And it's a sick awakening. Yeah. Dale says, my ex-narc tried to hoover me about a month and a half ago, of course. Of course, I didn't fall for it, but the new supply is now on my suggestion list on Facebook. Could that be a Hoover and tactic on her part? I don't think so. I think if you've been anywhere near the narcissist, or like you said, the narcissist, you know, technology today, they can trace just about every contact that you have with other people, even if it's just texting other people, or if they come near your phone. I've been in a room with people where I was near somebody, right? Just met them. And then the very next day, Facebook gives me a suggestion that for them to be my Facebook friend. Even though we don't even live in the same city, right? But they happened to be traveling, and we met up at a party together, and we spoke for a little bit, but that's it. We never exchanged phone numbers or anything. And then the next day I got them as a suggestion for a Facebook friend. It's not the other person, because the other person would just simply friend you, and then you get a friend request. Yeah. So I don't think that's part of hoovering. No Mo Narc says, D, praying for you. At least you're learning. My neighbor chose to stay with her narc and take care of him now that he is ill. Either way, they have to face their fate. Yep. D says, yep, I keep telling myself, every dog has his day. Haley Lucas, good to see you, says, I feel like these type of people are constantly always looking for the next quote unquote bigger, better thing. Yes, they are, especially when they feel their current situation isn't serving them anymore. Yep, or they get bored, right? They're like, what's the next thing? What's the next new thing? They get their highs. It's almost like a drug to them. They get this high out of how they're admired and beloved and practically worshipped by new people. So they need to have, and as you get to know somebody, you stop worshiping them, right? You stop being so amazed by them. When that happy, crazy, exciting time in the relationship starts to die down, the narcissist starts to feel depleted, or bored, or as if they've conquered all they could, and now they need to move on to the next person who's going to throw a party for meeting them, for just all the excitement that comes out of new relationships. Well, you guys, let me hop into this. Why is it the evidence and the facts don't matter to the narcissist? I'm sorry, to the new supply, and the narcissist is able to get away with so much? It's because, frankly, the new supply would lose too much if they wake up from their delusion. Yeah, the new supply has so much to lose. All that they've invested, all their hopes and dreams and the fantasies that they believed would go away if they should entertain the red flags and the evidence, even facts, right? I've gotten some comments recently from viewers who were saying how they've contacted the new supply, and the new supply just laughs in their face. There's a guy who wrote me recently, and he was saying how he tried to warn the new guy, and sadly his ex-girlfriend already got to him, right? Of course, because the first thing the narcissist is going to tell their new supply is about their old supply, their exes. They're going to tell them how crazy their exes are, and they're going to tell them how obsessed the exes were with them, right? How obsessed you were with them, and how manipulative you were. Everything that they were to you, they're going to project onto you. So when they're talking to the new supply, they're going to tell the new supply everything that they did, except for they're going to twist it and say that you did it to them. So if they cheated on you, they're going to tell the new supply that you cheated on them. If they were demeaning towards you and called you names and treated you badly in that way, they're going to say that you did that to them, that you called them names, and that you were rude to them, and all that they project. And that's, and here's the new supply. They only get one side of the story. So who are they going to believe? Of course, they're going to believe the narcissist, because they're starting this new relationship that's exciting, right? Now here's the deal. The new supply gets lied to, they get lured in, and they get targeted with a message that strikes at their heart or their yearning. And what I mean by that is the narcissist makes the new supply feel like they're seen, right? I see you. You're amazing. The narcissist makes the new supply feel like you're just so perfect for me, or you're just perfect, period. But for me, you're my soulmate. The narcissist tells the new supply how special they are. Like, I've never met anyone like you. You're so much better than my ex. And then they start trashing the ex because the ex was this and this, was horrible, was abusive, lied to me, cheated on everything the narcissist did to their ex. They're going to now say that's what their ex did to them. Meanwhile, the new supply is like, wow, you're so perfect for me too. And you're so wonderful that you put up with all of that from your ex. So they're building this crazy, delusional fantasy world with the new supply. And the new supply totally gets sucked into it. And I'm talking about within a day. Narcissists move quickly. If anything, we all know this. The narcissist moves quickly. So within a day or two of meeting the narcissist, the new supply is going to know all about the ex. The new supply is going to know or, believe the lies about the ex. The new supply is going to be pulled in immediately, right? So now the new supply is going to be a part of this bigger, more beautiful story with the narcissist. The narcissist has created this beautiful story like, all my life I've been searching for someone just like you. Oh, hey, you guys. Let me see if I can flip this camera. I just got an interrupted streaming. Oh, but I was able to pull you guys back up, so yay. Yeah, so, we're talking about how the new supply now is pulled into this new delusional world, new fantasy. They believe that, someone has been searching for me all of my life, all of their life. How amazing is that? No one's ever told me that before. Now, this is, as I had mentioned earlier, this to the narcissist is their awakening. They watch the new supply totally fall for everything they say. And to the narcissist, that's very empowering. The narcissist will then continue to move in and target harder. And now they believe that the new supply is so loyal and so trusting that the narcissist can say anything they want to the new supply. They can make up anything they want. So, of course, they're going to make up all kinds of lies about the ex to make them look even better, right? So that's why when you try to present evidence, when you try to present facts to the new supply, oh my gosh, I had also seen and heard and read in comments from viewers that I even showed them texts that the narcissist sent me, wanting me to go, to have, I won't go into, I can't say certain words apparently, otherwise I get strikes on YouTube. So wanting to be conjugal, right, with the narcissist. And the new supply will still not accept that. They'll say, because the narcissist will say, well, I was just playing with them because I knew they, I wanted to see if they were going to try to come in and pull us apart. Whatever the narcissist says, it makes absolutely no sense to you and me, right? Absolutely no sense that anyone should believe it. But for the new supply, they want to believe it. Because if they don't, what's the alternative, right? What's the alternative for them? If they should believe the facts, if they should believe the evidence that you're even showing them. Look at my phone. This is from the narcissist. This is from the person you're with right now who texted me a week ago wanting us to hook up, and the narcissist will say, well, they misread that. I just wanted to check on them and see if they were okay because, I still care about them because I have a heart. And they'll lie to the new supply. And this new supply is going to say, well, that sounds plausible. That sounds like, the good person that you keep telling me that you are. Of course, if you're a good person, you're going to check on your ex from time to time to make sure they're okay. What a good person you are. And it's so much easier for the new supply to believe that than to believe the actual evidence and the truth. So, a viewer who wrote to me just recently had said that, the new supply, the new guy just laughed at his face, in his face, because he said, she told me you were going to do this. She told me you were going to try to tear us apart. So you see, the new supply already is under this delusion. They're already caught up in the lies. The narcissist has already laid the groundwork because they suspected, as they jilted you, as they jilted the ex, that the ex is going to try possibly to interrupt their new, schemes, right, against the new supply. So they're going to lay this foundation with the new supply and pull them in. Yeah. So the new supply doesn't want to believe any of the evidence, any of the facts, because they have too much to lose. If they should believe any of the evidence, any of the facts, then they're going to have to confront the narcissist, which also, again, is another thing they don't want to do because they probably have already seen the manipulation that goes on there. Anytime they question a narcissist, it's, well, you don't trust me. That means you're not a loyal person. You don't believe me. How can we have a relationship if there's no trust? So the guilt gets turned back onto the new supply. They've already gone through that. So they don't want to go through that again. So they're not going to question the narcissist. It's just better that they sit back and they think it's better to avoid these truths and avoid these facts and avoid the evidence and just continue living in their delusional world until something big happens. And that's the crazy thing to me. Like, why would you wait until something really big happens that tears you apart, like the narcissist discarding you, right? Or why would you wait until something big like the narcissist starts a new relationship while they're still in a relationship with you? They haven't even broken up with you yet, but they're starting a new one now, and suddenly you hardly ever see them anymore. Meanwhile, they're still telling you how special and wonderful you are. Why does the new supply stick around for that? Because they're hoping against all hope that this beautiful life the narcissist had been promising them, the future faking, right? We've talked about that in past episodes. That this fake future that the narcissist promised the new supply would come true. And I've gotten several comments about this from viewers where they feel like, the narcissist promised me all of this. And when we were even together, another person had commented recently that they had been together for 10 years. And the narcissist kept saying how much he loved her and how much he valued her and wrote her poems and was romantic with her, for 10 years. But he refused to marry her. He just refused, no, I don't believe in marriage, blah, blah, blah. And yet, I think it was 2 months later, he marries someone after he meets them. Like, what the heck is that, right? 10 years with their ex. And then within 2 months of meeting a new supply, they move on and marry the new supply. You're like, what? What? How does this happen? Well, the narcissist moves on so quickly like that because it's a new relationship, like I was saying to you. They've been in a relationship for 10 years. It's not as exciting. The new supply or the ex is not as excited to see them, is not as exuberant with them. And then they meet somebody who's exuberant, who's excited about them. And they're like, I gotta nab this up. And the narcissist actually gets deluded as well because they believe like this can last forever. Look at how exciting this person is and how happy they are with me and how much they admire me and adore me and treat me so well. And so they're like, oh, I gotta marry this person. That or the new supply is also manipulating, right? The new supply could be manipulating the narcissist and saying, I gotta get married now because, you have to prove to me that you actually love me and blah, 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 whatnot. So they get married. But here's the deal. It's going to fall apart because them jumping into the relationship and commitment that deeply, that quickly, is the way that insecure people treat relationships. That's how they behave in relationships. They are not responsible. They're not thoughtful. They're not far, thinking in the far range. They are just in the moment and they want to be spontaneous and they want to lock this down right now. And once they lock it down, guess what? They lock themselves down. It's so creepy, you guys. So be aware that you are the blessed one that did not marry the narcissist. If you didn't marry them and they moved on right away and married somebody else, you are the blessed one because you did not get stuck in that trap. And now in a legal trap, right? Because marriage is a lot harder to separate from than just a dating relationship. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No Monarch says, my mom always yells at waiters. What's the deal with picking on waiters to show superiority? Yes. See, when people who are with these narcissists don't see that and dismiss that, what are they thinking, right? You're just wondering, how can you dismiss how they treat other people? If you want to know the kind of person they are, watch how they treat everybody, right? If they treat certain people badly, if they badmouth someone into the ground, smearing them, hating them, that's a big red flag. That shows you like the amount of hate this person can have for another person. And guess what? One day it's going to be turned onto you, turned towards you. So be careful of that. Watch for the warning signs. They are there. Don't get so pulled in that you want, something that occurs to me is that, and this will happen possibly again in your life. I can see it happening in many people's lives where you do meet somebody and they make you feel so special and they make you feel so good about yourself. And that's such a beautiful thing, right? But then they start behaving badly. And you want to ignore that because they gave you something that you desired, that you needed as a person. You need the validation that you matter and that you're important to somebody, right? When they're doing that, you have to be grounded. You do. You just have to be grounded. Like, that's just so awesome that someone says these things about me, but I'm not going to give it as much value as someone who really knows me, who's really, been around me for a lot and will still be loyal and loving towards me even when I have bad days, right? If you have not had those experiences yet with this person and they're just lauding all this applause on you and they're telling you how amazing you are and how beautiful and how handsome and how intelligent and how you're just a perfect person for them and they've looked all their life for you. It's like, wow, that's a bit overboard, by the way. That really is. That is something you get to in a relationship sometime down the road. Like my husband, he's so sweet. He said when he first met me, I think it took him, he said, a couple of weeks before he knew I was the one. But he knew not to say that to me because he knew I'd run in the other direction. He's like, if I had said that to you, you'd turn around and run. He's right. He's right. I would have. And after several years with him, he is, and even before that, I don't even remember when I asked him, when was the first time you fell in love with me? It might have been our 5th anniversary. Like, when did you know you were in love with me? And when he told me, about 2 weeks after I met you, I was like, what? But here's the deal. A common sense, rational, responsible person is not going to move things crazy quick, all right? They're going to hold back. They're going to give you space to feel comfortable. They're going to give you time to get to know them. And they want to get to know you even more, right? They're going to fall in love with you. You're going to fall in love with them. It's going to be really great. You don't need to move super fast. Now, 10 years, like one of my viewers was saying how she had been wanting to get married for 10 years. That's too long, obviously. But within 2 years or so, if they can't make a real commitment with you, then maybe you need to move on. But if they are um, love bombing you within 2 weeks, already telling you, and by the way, it's not necessarily weeks either. There's somebody, uh, how do I explain this without identifying who it is? There's somebody in my life. Uh, I'll just put it out there. It's a long lost relative. Remember how I told you I was adopted? I was born in a war torn country. Well, my biological father contacted me a couple of years ago, and I have not met him. He's friended me on Facebook, and I've rejected it. I mean, I didn't reject it, I just haven't responded to it, which I guess is rejecting it because I really don't need him to see everything in my life. He hasn't been there all my life. Um, we do text back and forth. He contacts me for holidays and such and wishes me a happy Mother's Day or, a Merry Christmas or something like that. But he gets really weird where he writes things, the last time he texted me was a couple weeks ago, and he wrote how proud he was of me. And I'm like, what? Why would you be proud of me? You don't know anything I've done. You don't know me at all. So why are you saying how proud you are of me? So be suspicious of things like that. And now I bring this up because he's been in contact with me for about 2 years. So it doesn't matter sometimes the number of years you've known someone. When they start applauding you or lauding you with all kinds of compliments, question that. Like, do they know you that well? Like, if they're telling you how you're the most intelligent person they know, it's like, well, you don't know anything I've done. Like, how do you know I'm that intelligent? How do you don't work with me? You don't know what my accomplishments are. Um, just because I can speak a few words, why does that make you think that I'm super intelligent, right? So take these compliments with a grain of salt. I know we want to believe it and we want to be like, oh, wow, they really appreciate me and they really know who I am and I deserve these compliments. We want to believe that. And let me tell you, you probably are, right? Okay, you probably are wonderful. You probably should be admired. Probably should be loved. You probably should be given these compliments. But be careful who is giving it to you. All right, don't just jump overboard with it. The new supply, however, gets pulled in because they're not at a emotionally mature spot where they can see that this compliment doesn't quite add up, right? Has no meat to it, has nothing to back it up. Like the person who's telling them these compliments doesn't know them. Yep. All right, you guys. My eyes are kind of blurry this morning. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm still tired from lack of sleep. All right. I'm going to go back and check how your comments are and if you have any questions. Sorry, I'm going back to see. Okay, here we go. I think I'm caught up. Nope. I'm trying to find where I am. Yeah. The Pam, aka Measure Twice. Oh, hey, Measure Twice. I remember seeing you before. Welcome back. It says, hi, everyone. Great question. Yeah. Like, why does the new supply not see the evidence and the facts? Yeah. The Pam says, very relevant statement about new supply. I just started dating and I am the new supply for a narcissist. Uh-oh. Gloria Davis, good to see you, says the abuse does make you feel crazy. Yeah. No Monarch says his new recycled supply is also a narcissist and she could care less how he treated me because she treats her victims the same. She couldn't care less how he treated me. Because if she could care less, then that means she cares some right now, right? Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, when two narcissists get together, oh my gosh, it's like two witches that get together and laugh and cackle about the horrible stuff they've done to other people and their exes. And it's creepy. It's very creepy and disgusting. I know, oh, this is kind of sick and sad, but think about high school, right? Mean girls or mean guys or just mean people before they even have maturity, right? Before they get emotional maturity, it's like, and I'm not saying all kids in high school are like this. I've definitely known teenagers who are just wonderful, awesome young people. But the ones that are very selfish, self-centered, self-focused, they gather with other people just like that, and they cackle and laugh about others in their class, and they treat their classmates like scum. They'll bring along some friends from time to time, only to, and those friends think, oh, they like me, and they invited me to these parties or to these outings or out to lunch or whatever they're doing, right? And as they get to know those other friends who are unsuspecting, after those friends go home, or when those friends are not with the group or the two or the group will smear that new friend like crazy, crazy. They'll laugh about, things that each of them had found out about the new person, and they'll mock the person. That is like two narcissists to get together, right? They are childish. So these can be people in their 30s and 40s and beyond, who will still do this. That's insane to me. It is insane to me how you can be in your 30s, 40s, and still behave that way. I just feel like, what the heck? They just never grew up. They hold on to their nastiness and their vileness, and you don't notice it because they're so friendly when you first meet them, and they're so, they seem like so welcoming and so happy to see you. That's the love bombing in friendships, by the way. It happens in friendships, not just in romantic relationships. But then they pull you in, and whatever you tell them about your life, they will be mocking it with somebody else. They'll be telling somebody else your whatever personal information you've told them, and they will mock it. I've seen it. It's very frustrating to me. I hate it. And I've tried talking to some teens about that. Like, don't do that. That's not nice. But these are teenagers, and hopefully they do learn, and they're like, oh, someone caught me, which is good, because when you catch them in the act, a lot of times when they're younger, they'll correct that. When they're older, and they become narcissists, and not all narcissists are a product of the environment, because some of them I think are born narcissists, but the ones that are products of the environment, as they become more narcissistic and they get older, they just hold on to the worst characteristics possible. It doesn't make sense to me. The Pam says, no worries though. I know all about narcissists, and I realized quickly that he is a narcissist. It took about a month to see it all clearly. I did a video on how to have a relationship with a narcissist. Now, and I know that you cannot have a real relationship with a narcissist, but you can, at times, enjoy their company, I guess. I don't know. Be very careful. There are times that you can have a great, what is it? Because they bring a lot of excitement. They do. They're just very lively, exciting people. And to have that in your life is kind of fun. You can party with them, right? You can go out and have a great time, go to amusement parks. They'll be the one that's just like so exuberant about all the rides, and they're making it a lot of fun for everybody. That's great. But be very careful about getting closer than that with a narcissist. Yep. Gloria says, ex-narc is with someone half his age. I'm sorry, that just makes me laugh. It always makes me laugh because, is it possible? I guess, yeah, it's possible. I knew a woman who was married to a guy who is 15 years younger than her, but she, yeah, it was kind of sad because her husband was the same age as me. I'm married, at the time I'm married, and have kids, and she and her husband, she was 15 years older than me and 15 years older than him. And I did not catch this at all, but for some reason she thought that her husband and I were flirting with each other, which we were not, because I don't know, I had no interest whatsoever in her husband. I was in love with, still am in love with my husband. I have a wonderful, beautiful life. Why would I want to do this? But she just like lost her mind at some point. I think it's like the older person will become very possessive of the younger one and just assume that the younger one, because they're young and good looking or whatever, can move on with other people. So it's a hard relationship, I think, in the best of times when it's not even a narcissist involved in that. In the best of times, it's going to be hard and full of jealousy, right, and doubts from the older one. Yeah, Gloria says I called him a creepy old man. I would agree. I would agree, but I guess sometimes it could happen. It could work. I'm just thinking about my parents. They're like 13 years apart, so not half their age, right? Yeah, I do think it's kind of weird. I'm not, okay. Pam says, I am not going to date this narc any further. A big red flag was that he treated the wait staff and cashiers terribly. Yes, yes, that's a total red flag. Watch how they treat others. Even if they treat you like, a queen or a king, they treat you so well, but they treat those around them like trash. That's the real them. That's a big red flag, because one day they're going to treat you the same way. No Monarch says, my mom always yells at waiters. What's the deal with picking on waiters to show superior? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Obi-Wan says, we were the new supply, wondering how in the heck someone can be so messed up with the narc. Yeah. Yep. Oh, you messed up to the narc. Like, how can they be so mean and horrible towards the narc? Yeah, because the narc is telling us how they're the victim of every relationship they've ever had. Yep. The Pam says, right? No, Mo, I was mortified at how this narc humiliated the waiters and cashiers. Yep. Gloria says, New Supply even knows he went to jail for assaulting me. Wow. What? Right? Like, it's that's how delusional the New Supply is. No matter what facts you present them with, court orders. Oh, have you guys seen that Dirty John about John? I forget his last name, but this guy. So his new woman, I forget her name too. It's been a while since I looked at that story, but she was so in love with him that when her kids tried to tell her and show her evidence of of they hired a private investigator who dug up all kinds of stuff about him, that he had this rap sheet a mile long of assaults and robbery, or what do you call it, stealing, larceny, stuff like that, right? And suing people left and right. Even though she saw this rap sheet, she just didn't want to believe it. And it took her some time, even after that, before finally things got to the point. And he stole money from her. She didn't want to believe that. But, little by little, she started thinking, something's wrong, something's wrong. And she knew it was wrong. She was a very intelligent woman, at least, it seemed like she was. And yet he provided for her the kind of attention she never got from other men, right? He treated her the way she'd always wanted to be treated. He seemed so considerate. And one of the things they kept showing in the newer Dirty John movie is, or show, I don't know what you call it, production, is that he would bring her some kind of smoothie every morning. Like, that's how much he cared about her. No guy ever would do that, right? He was just very attentive and tried to take care of her. Yep. She was a project to him. And that's how narcissists see their victims, sees their supply as, this is a project to me. I can manipulate them by doing these things. No Monarch says, I took my mom to Paris. I love Paris. And she ruined it for me when she yelled at a waiter for telling her her Caesar salad was big. She said he was implying she couldn't afford it. She's crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they take everything as an insult, by the way, narcissist. Yep. Gloria says they never break up with you. They just vanish. Sometimes they do break up with you. They have a weird, like, I knew somebody, I had a friend who had a formula for breaking up with all his New Supply. He was such a jerk. He was such a weird, crazy jerk. I feel so bad for all of his supply, because he used the same formula and how he would break up with them. He'd tell them, you know, it just wouldn't work out between us, and he'd make up something like it's the age difference, it's the cultural difference, it's the you know we don't really, you know, I mean it's been fun, but you know we really weren't meant to be, right? We weren't going, it wasn't going to work out. You knew that, you know, like he put it on them as if they were in control and that they were aware of what was going on. And so they just agreed to it. They're like, yeah, yeah, you're right. I knew it. I knew we weren't going to work out. I don't know. So crazy. But they did lash out. Oh my gosh, I was able to witness a couple of them who did lash out at him. And they're like, but you told me, but you said this, but you promised, you know. And he's like, oh, and by the way, narcissists are master debaters. They make great lawyers. So, of course, he had all this evidence and all these things he'd already thought of. And he was arguing ad nauseum with these women. Yep. Wow. Oh, did not know that. Interesting. Oh, yeah. The Pam says, Hall and Oates, Daryl Hall did that. Never married girlfriend of 28 years. Left her and married the next woman within a few years. Yeah, so crazy. Pam says, they marry new supply to hurt the old supply and to secure the new supply. It happens a lot. Yeah. And here's the thing, I have watched these videos on these MGTOW channels. I used to watch them. I haven't watched them in a while. Other things have taken precedence now in my life. But I wanted to understand what MGTOW was. It's men going their own way, MGTOW. And in there, there's been some coaching. Some of these guys are on there coaching other men how to use women and then throw them away. It's really disgusting to me. But I don't think all of MGTOW is about that. Some of them is just, hey, work on yourself, build up your own life before you get caught up with with a woman who's going to strip you of everything, right? And there are all kinds of women that these guys have been messed up by. It could be selfish women, but also very immature women, stuff like that. Here's the deal. They talk, sorry. They talk about when a man is ready to get married. Like he's just out there playing around. And he'll say whatever he needs to say in order to keep this woman around for years, right? Uh, and if they're not ready to get married, they're not going to get married. But when they are, and I don't quite understand what that means. Like at some point they're just ready, and then they marry the new supply, like you said, within a couple of years. Even though they've been with somebody for 28 years, here's the deal. They will cheat on that new supply because now that they know that they can move on to other people, they're going to do that. And when that new supply, even though they're married, doesn't do it for them anymore, you know, doesn't excite them anymore, they're going to move on. Yeah, Gloria says, I'm going to be much more careful next time. I'm single now, very cautious, and I don't trust anyone. Oh, hey, by the way, you guys, that's not a good segue to go into this, but I'm going to go ahead and address this comment. It's very hard to trust, and that's true. I have another video on how to build up your trust again after being with a narcissist. Do you want to stay single for a while and work on yourself? Read some of these really good books called Boundaries. There's a series of books called Boundaries and another one called Safe People. Another one that was written by Dr. Phil, of all people, is called, what was his called? Not Safe People. If you go to my website, you'll see it there. It's under the shop menu, and I have links to the Amazon links to these books. But it's like 9 traits of something of toxic people. I can't remember. I'll put it in the comments or something later on. But these are really good books to read to learn how to identify safe people, identify the liars and the users and abusers, right? And that way, once you learn their tricks and the manipulations, you'll be able to walk in confidence. You'll be able to walk into a relationship with confidence and know how fast you want to go with this relationship or how slow. You can be the one in control this time around. And there's no need to avoid all relationships, right? Because you deserve happiness. You deserve to have a partner for the rest of your life if that's what you want. And you can find that. But you have to be prepared and educate yourself on about the crazy ones out there, right? The narcissists and the sharks that are out there. Haley says, what about if they rush a situation with someone from a dating app? Yeah, a dating app. Yeah, they definitely do that as well. They can rush that. Now, here's a difference. I have a friend who did within, let me see, a year, they got married. Within 6 months, they were engaged. And it's turned out beautifully. Here's the deal. They're later on in their life. They're in their late 20s. They both have set careers. Neither of them had any serious relationships beforehand. Each working on their careers and building themselves up and growing as people, but also um, their careers were so demanding that they couldn't really invest in a relationship. So when the time came and they were like, okay, I've got everything in my life, I just need to see, I got to look around and start dating, I guess. Well, they found each other on a dating app. And the dating app was really awesome. It's called, now I don't know if it's great still, but you guys are welcome to look it up. I think it's Coffee Meets Bagel. And it goes into a lot of things that are important to them. So they matched up really well in that area. Now, I've met a lot of other people, interestingly enough, like I want to say 3 other people who met through that app. And another couple just got married, and a third one is getting engaged soon. A third couple is getting engaged soon, and they use that app. I'm trying to think of, I'm trying to remember if there was another. Oh, and I think this couple knew somebody else also, so a fourth couple that also got married because of that. It's, they move, I don't want to say slowly in that it took them 5 or 10 years, but they got to know each other. They didn't jump into bed. To me, that's the moving fast part. Like, you don't want to get physical with people right away, within a month or two or whatever. And they didn't. By the way, they waited. Um, they they waited till they got married, and plus one of them had a job that took him away quite a bit, so they had to have their relationship talking to each other. They had to communicate. So they really got to know each other well. And not only that, they met each other's families, and there were no red flags there. It was awesome. That's another thing. Like, if people do move quickly, that's the way I would say you have to do it. You have to meet each other's families. You have to meet each other's closest friends. And they did. They met each other's closest friends. They even vacationed with their friends together and with their families together. And they got to spend one-on-one time with everybody's family, and everybody was on board. Like, everybody could see, like, this was a great couple. They worked well together. They were very similar. They were very, and these 2 people had really great character, by the way. They were not immature, selfish, self-centered type people. They're just very mature most of their life, and they made really good decisions. This is a quality person. Both of them were quality people. And so it makes sense. It makes sense that even within a year that for them to be married. Yeah. The Pam says simple conversation will be construed as flirting by the insecure. Yep. So true, to Pam. Narcs will date younger people later in life because younger peeps are less aware of the manipulation. Absolutely. BB Scott, good to see you. Says PUA is about using women. I don't even know what PUA stands for. Obi says, I'm dealing with some chick now that tried those narc games with me. So I threw them back and we seem to get along great because I told her she can be replaced at any time. Yikes. Obi, well, I guess you already know that that's true about you as well, right? Like, I don't know. I don't understand these relationships. But yeah, with narcissists, you have to have these very clear boundaries and that you will not allow them to use you. BB Scott says, I think a lot of MGTOW are men who married or dated narcs or BPDs. They think all women are that way, or at least the vast majority. I would agree with you with that because the women they talk about, I'm just like, why are you dating these crazy women? Apparently, they're not into quality women, which is, well, no, I shouldn't say that because I think some men are simply, they were taken advantage of by narcissists, right? They definitely were. And these are just guys who are good guys who wanted to love a woman well. They wanted to be in a good relationship. They wanted to be the man to love and care for this woman. And of course, narcissists and BPDs maybe destroyed the entire relationship and destroyed them. So I do see that. I understand that. But there's some of them that I watch, the ones that run the channels. And I've only watched a couple of these channels. I don't watch a ton of them. But the ones who have these channels, I just look at them and I'm like, these guys are horrible. These guys who, not all of them, by the way, like I said, I haven't watched all of them, just a couple. But the ones who are encouraging the men to use the women and dump them, right? To uh, play this game with the women. I just feel like, are you out of your mind? And then you think that teaching other men to do this is going to help them find happiness. Are you out of your freaking mind? And sadly, these men are getting tons of subscribers and are life coaching them. I'm just like, oh no, oh no. But that's what we're looking at, and we have to be so careful of that. Oh, yeah. Obi says, I was in Vegas with a narc and she started flirting with some dude, and dude saw me look agitated, laughed, and told the chick so long, and patted me on the back and walked away laughing. Yep, yep. The Pam says, I met the new narc on Tinder. I hear Tinder is like the worst. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But there are some apps out there that are, I've never been on these apps, so I can't say. His profile said he was close with his family. I find out 2 weeks later he doesn't speak to his family, who wrote what he thought women wanted to hear. A blatant lie. Yep, and a huge red flag, right? That's why it's so important to actually meet the family, actually meet the close friends. If they have no close friends, if they have close friends that look at you, but this is the hard part. Some close friends will actually try to warn the new supply. Listen to that. If the close friend is warning you, then believe it. Believe it, right? But sometimes the close family or friends will actually play along. And I've heard from viewers later on that said his family hid all of this, right? Hid how horrible he was. My dog is barking at me from inside. No, you're not coming out. Because he wants to come out here and bark all over the place. Ah, Gallifrey Ocean says, anyone else get flashbacks of how the narc treated people in front of you? Even nearly 3 years later, I still get those horrible feelings in my tummy, even though I'm happy with someone else now. Yes, I want to say yes. I have had those flashbacks, and you're like, ooh, that was just awful. Yeah, sorry, guys. I went back to see if maybe I missed some other. Yep, that's what I was thinking to Pam. Um, yeah. Oh, okay. So there are differences in the different apps. That's why I mentioned Coffee Meets Bagel. Maybe that one is more about relationship and not just hooking up, right? Some people they just want to hook up with people, and I do not recommend that because that is one of the very top reasons people are become deluded because they get this chemical connection with a narcissist. hormones are released during intimate relations. And those hormones are bonding hormones, they're trusting hormones. And and then when you're around that person, those hormones kind of like automatically get released. So even when they're treating you badly, even when they're treating you, lying to you, and all the evidence is in front of you, you're not going to trust what you're seeing. You're going to trust your feelings, right? Those hormones that make you feel safe or make you feel bonded to the person will flood your mind and distract your mind from seeing the reality, from seeing the truth and the evidence that's right in front of you. So don't get physically intimate with somebody. I think like waiting at least 6 months would be a great idea. Oh my gosh, I can't kind of remember a long time ago. I was watching Steve Harvey. I don't know. He had a show where he gave dating advice of all things, right? This guy who's had a lot of really bad relationships. But I kind of appreciated some of his advice. And he said, this is what he tells his daughters. And I'm pretty sure his sons as well. Whether they follow it or not, I don't know. That he would tell them at least 3 months. I can't remember their stages. Something before, nothing before 3 months, and then you're able to like maybe kiss and stuff like that after 3 months, and then after 6 months is when he was like, then maybe intimacy. But like I told you, sometimes time is not a good measurement, because if you rarely or barely have ever seen this person, you can go 6 months and have seen them all of like 4 times. So you're not going to get to know someone just having met up with them 4 times, okay? So it is a matter of 6 months, like every week you're seeing each other, you know each other's families, you're getting into each other's lives. 6 months later, then, okay. I know it sounds like, oh, that's so long in today's world, but look at today's world. Look at how crazy it is out there and how bad so many relationships are. So, yeah. Oh, the Pam said she's going to check that out. Yeah, but be careful on any dating site, because narcissists do check those out, and they will lie on their profiles. So again, that's why it's really important to get plugged into their families, get plugged into with their friends, see what kind of people they hang out with. Someone once said, and I think there's a book out there that says you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most, right? So take a look at the narcissist and take a look at the 5 people they hang out with the most. They're the average of those 5 people. I think that's a pretty good measurement. Yep. Yeah. Pam mentions the chemical connection is oxytocin, bonding hormone, and more common for women to get loads of this hormone. It will confuse you and bond you to a bad guy. Absolutely. I mentioned that in one of my earlier videos as well. This hormone, and people don't understand that. They're like, it's just an act to them. It feels good, it's just an act. But it's not just an act. You do chemically change, and once you've tricked your body into trusting this person intimately, right, with physical intimacy, then your mind is going to say this is a safe person. So be very careful of that. What if they have multiple social groups? Well, that's, get into there. Learn about the different social groups they're with. Maybe not take an average of the 5 that they are, but I kind of wonder, because I think like even if they're in a lot of social groups and they have no close friends, that could be an indicator as well, right? Like they have to keep everybody on the surface level, because anybody who gets close enough to know them, really know them, will take off. They're going to be turned off. So watch for that as well. See what people they spend their most of their time with. See how much time they spend with their family. That is another big thing too. Like, are they close to their family? Are they close to their siblings? It's possible that their siblings are total jerks, depends on each family. But that's what you're going to be getting, by the way, is this crazy family dynamic. So, you have to ask yourself, is that what you really want to inherit? Is that really something you want in your life? when you marry the narcissist. And you know what? Here, let me tell you something. For me and my husband, we both came from pretty crazy families. But generally, you could see that he respected his parents and I respected my parents. Even though we had family members that were just out there, probably narcissistic and all that, we were still loving towards and respectful towards them. And we saw each other's family, so we could see the dynamic. We could see that, like, I could see my husband wasn't lying to me, and my husband could see that I wasn't lying to him about what kind of relationship I had with them. That's really important. Yeah. Oh, okay. The Pam, thanks for saying this, says seek someone with integrity. That is the bottom line. And develop integrity within yourself. Absolutely. Kel H, good to see you, says if the narc feels something, it becomes a fact, even with proof and clear evidence to the contrary. Yep, absolutely. Haley Lucas says, and have okay, what if they've lived in different locations? Even within different locations, find out who they've been working with, right? I mean, everybody is social. So if they have no connection to anybody, that's just weird. The couple I was telling you about earlier that married within a year of meeting each other, he was in a program that required him, educational program that required him to also move around quite a lot. So, but here's the thing: he had roommates where he lived. She got to meet the roommates, and how they lived, and the quality of people that he chose to live with. She got to see that, and they were people of integrity. Now, when you see, when you're dating somebody, you meet their roommates, and their roommates are all drugged out in the corner when you walk in the door, or they're dealing some, in criminal activity. That's a red flag. Don't ignore that. So the kind of people that the person you're dating is willing to live with, or wants to live with, or associates with, that matters. Don't just think that, oh, they're just being such humanitarians to care about these people who are so lost. That's not the case. The case is they are also very lost, right? Yep. The Pam says their close friends reveal and reflect who they are. Similar levels of integrity. Yep. Jeff G, good to see you, says narcs live in an alternate reality where they are in control. They make all the rules as they go. Completely irrational and insane behavior. That is so true. It is. So, you guys, here's the thing, back to our topic. Why is it that the facts and evidence doesn't matter? How is, that, and that's the crazy town that we come out of, and we're turned upside down, where we think, now, if facts and evidence don't matter, what is wrong with this world? How am I supposed to function in such a world? And the good news is you don't have to function in that world. You can separate from people who don't go by facts and evidence. You don't have to subject yourself to that crazy delusion that narcissists build around themselves in their life, right? So when you look at who their friends are, and you see their friends are pretty schemy. And by the way, just because someone can put a few words together doesn't mean they're intelligent. Just because someone can be nice for an hour doesn't mean that they're nice. Okay? It doesn't mean that you really know them. Spend that time to get to know their family, their friends, their roommates if they have roommates, people they hang out with. If they're hanging out with coworkers, see who they work with, right? Not every workplace is the same. Some places have people who are just awful, and some places have really kind, wonderful people. See if they get along with these kind, wonderful people, or if they get along with the lesser, the lesser, I don't know, appealing crowd, right? The people who are cursing everybody and treating everybody badly and doing criminal activity, and you find out, like, well, okay, if they prefer that and they call those real people, and that's the other thing, by the way, narcissists will call the criminal element, the horrible, nasty elements, the real people. Those are real people. And everybody who's nice is fake. No, that's not true. Don't fall for that. Criminal people are just criminal. They don't care that they're blatant about it. They don't care that they're out and open about their activities. They just expect that you should accept them or else you're the bad person. You don't have to live in that crazy world. And it is a crazy world. You would have to suppress your own instincts about right and wrong. You would have to suppress your own instincts when you see facts and evidence, just like the new supply does, in order to stay in that psycho world with the narcissist. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because now that you're on the outside and you see the new supply subjecting themselves to this, doesn't it make you go, what the heck? That's just insanity. It is. It's insanity. Don't subject yourself to that. Yeah. Jeff G says narc families resemble a cult. Interesting. I'm trying to think about that. The narcs that I know, their families, one family, I guess, kind of is sort of a cult in that they treat each other extremely badly. I mean, they backstab like no one you've ever seen. And yet they will attack their siblings' spouses, right? So even when the siblings themselves are hateful towards each other, backstab each other, treat each other with incredible malice and cheat each other. I mean, they've cheated each other out of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And yet, if the spouse of their sibling should try to say something negative about their sibling to them, they will turn on the spouse. They will go straight to their sibling and say, and throw that spouse under the bus. I've seen that happen. To me, that's Crazytown. That's the Crazytown I lived in, and that would be my mom and her family. So I can see that, what you mean about cult there. But the other narcs that I know and their families are not that close. They don't have anything to do with their families practically. Yeah. I mean, they visit their family. They supposedly have kind of a relationship with their family, but their family has no clue what the narc is doing. The narc just comes in and out, of the family. Yeah. The Pam says, if you see they have an angry nature, run. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I have a family member right now who is dating someone who's telling him that anger is good. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Definitely having emotions is good. But I kind of wonder what the heck kind of anger is she showing him, behind closed doors and convincing him that this is good. I don't know, you guys. Total Crazytown to me. DePam says, my narc ex-husband's family had continuous drama, gossip, fighting, alcohol, and drug addictions. Yep. I agree with that. Nomo Narc says, bye everyone, taking a homeowner's test so I can move away from the narc. Okay, good luck on your test. Yeah. Well, you guys, our hour is definitely up. I wanted to read some more of these comments. I'll let you tie up wrap up some of your conversations if you're having any with each other. Gloria Davis, yeah, says good luck. Yeah. Well, you guys, I hope that this helps you see how you might have fallen into the same trap that the new supply had, right? Or is in right now. And how then to prepare and protect yourself from ever falling into that trap again. So that has been the lesson today. Look for the evidence, look for the facts, believe the facts, right? Don't delude yourself. You don't need to delude yourself to have a good life. If you delude yourself, all you're doing is delaying the disaster that is headed your way with the narcissist. And you don't want to do that. Definitely read these books. If I can only think of, okay, I'll put a link in the comments to my channel where I have all the books I recommend. But in there, you will find all the boundaries books. You'll find the other book about, I think it's 9 characteristics toxic people or something like that. Users and abusers. I can't remember, but that's a good one too. And it talks, they talk about their experience with these different people, and that's how we learn from each other. Through each other's experiences, and how we uncover the manipulations and the craziness. So, you guys know that here's the deal. This is the good news. You are out. You do not have to live within this crazy trap of Crazytown. You no longer are hooked. You see the light. You see the truth. Cling to the truth. The truth will heal you. Truth is painful, by the way, but it will heal you. And then it becomes soothing. When it's healing you, it starts to become soothing. You're like, wow, so glad that I'm out of there. That's what the truth will do for you. Oh, by the way, and I should have mentioned this earlier, and I meant to when there were more watching, but next week I'm going to be doing Happy Crappy Hour on Wednesday because I'm traveling on Thursday. I will be putting out a notification for that to prepare you guys for Happy Crappy Hour, moving to Wednesday just for next week, though. So, what is that? September, I don't even know, 20 something, 20. Sorry. No, wait, it's October 1st, I believe. Yeah, I think next Thursday is October 1st. So I'm traveling, so the day before that, so September 30th. All right, you guys, I'll be putting out a reminder. I will see you then. Keep the faith. Be strong. You guys have made it out of the hard part, okay? You've made it out of the trap. Now there is freedom in front of you. There are sunny skies, good days, and good people in your future. That's the good news. Blessings to you, and I will see you next week.